Okay, crafty friends, we did a DTF printing hack a little while ago that if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it before you watch this video. It is so cool because we discovered you can actually DTF print with an inkjet printer. I know it sounds insane, and that's because it actually is insane that we were able to DTF print on an inkjet printer. Typically that is something you do with a sublimation printer, or you actually have to have a DTF printer to make it work, but this bag was created in that video literally just using an inkjet printer and some DTF powder and the special paper. It looks kind of gross now, and that's because I use this bag all the time. So actually, my kids use this as their piano bag, so it gets a lot of wear and tear, and it's actually held up really nicely. But we recently went back and looked at that video, and it looks like a lot of you have questions about stress testing this hack. Does it go through the wash? Can it go through the dryer? What happens if you stretch it? What happens if you beat the heck out of it? Is it going to hold up? So we're testing that theory today. Today we're gonna stress test that hack. We're gonna actually make another shirt using the hack, and then I'm gonna throw it through the washer. I'm going to stretch the heck out of this tote bag. Sorry in advance to my children who love this bag. I will make you another one. And we're gonna see if it holds up. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and get started making our second one, which we're gonna put on this blue shirt. I'm gonna show you the supplies you need to do this hack so you could do it at home, and then we're gonna stress test it. So, okay, this is the shirt we're using. It is Next Level Apparel. It is a 50-50. Ooh, is it a 50-50? Hold on. I know it's 50% polyester. 50% polyester, 25% cotton, and 25% rayon. So it's a blend shirt. I wanted to use this one because it's kind of on the line for what would be acceptable for sublimating, which we are not doing today. We're DTF hacking, but it's kind of on the verge, right, of being usable. So I wanna see how it works. It's also kind of a darker-ish color, so we're gonna check that out. Because when we did this is a cotton canvas tote. So, and we used a light color. And it worked really well, but I kind of want to push the boundaries a little bit on this one. So we're going to use that shirt. The other supplies that you need for this project, you need your DTF powder. This is the kind that I use. It is Godora, I think, transfer powder, DTF and DTG printing. This is a 16-ounce bottle. I got it on Amazon. We will link it for you. For a while, this stuff was selling out like crazy, and now it's pretty easy to get. So I got mine on Amazon. It's a good price. And also you can reuse the powder, which I'll show you in just a second. So there's that. Okay, you also need DTF paper. So I use this kind right here. Ooh. It is the Sendale Premium DTF Transfer Film Sheets, glossy. And again, pricing is really good. You can't reuse these, but you can get them on Amazon, and we will link that for you. Other than that, you need an inkjet printer and you need a heat press. I'm also using like a piece of wax paper here today. That's just so I don't get powder everywhere. I think the last time I did this, I literally used a paper towel. So you don't have to have anything fancy for that. Just use something to lay down so you don't get, so you have a way to like pick up and put the powder back afterwards. I think that's everything. Oh, you'll probably want a Teflon sheet also for when you do the heat pressing part. So keep that in mind. And that's it. That's all you need. So let's put our tote bag aside that we've already made. Let's hop over to the computer and let me show you how you print this out and load in your sheets. So this is the design we're doing today. I love this little coquette disco ball. Here is the file for it. I got it off Design Bundles. Shocker. It is included in a Plus membership, which I think is crazy because I love this design. So go get it if you haven't already. And I just pulled it up in preview. I'm not using any special software today. I'm just gonna print it straight out of here, but we do need to mirror it first. So if you don't know how to mirror outside of a software or an app, let me show you. You can just pull it up in preview, go to Tools, flip horizontal, and boom, you've now mirrored your design. And then we're just gonna go to File, Print. And I want it to be as big as it could possibly be on this page. So I'm not gonna auto rotate. I think I can get it a little bit bigger if I'm printing portrait mode. And I'm gonna click on the scale here, and I'm just gonna kind of manually bump this up until we get it like as big as we can. And I think that's about as big as we're gonna be able to get it without the bow popping off the page. So I'm doing it at 78%. You do what works for you. And now we are literally ready to print. So I'm gonna go ahead and load my paper in. The thing about doing these DTF film sheets, I have found that having some paper like below it will sometimes help it feed a little bit better. Like if you just put one of these into your printer, it may have a hard time feeding it through. So sometimes I put just cardstock or regular paper below it. I don't know why that helps, but it does. Also note that this has a matte side and a glossy side. We want our design to print on the matte side. So because of that, we're gonna put it in our printer. It depends on how your printer feeds, so know your printer, but my printer will like pull it through and then print it out. So because of that, I'm gonna put mine in glossy side up. So let me do that real quick and then we'll print. All right, we're gonna press print and then I'll show you what it looks like. However, this is where you need to prep yourself emotionally because you wanna get your DTF powder on there before the ink dries. So let's go ahead and get our space ready for that. Maybe take a sip of coffee. You wanna be at peak mental fortitude because we're gonna do this quickly. I'm also gonna go ahead and open my DTF powder here. It has a little scoop in it, so that's nice. Ooh, you're supposed to do this in a well-ventilated area. You don't really wanna be breathing this in like I just did. So maybe like open a window, crack a window or something. And then we're gonna do it. Sublimation ink dries a little slower than regular inkjet ink. So we gotta be snappy. Okay, I'm gonna press print and we're gonna do this. Okay, there were a few printer jams, which I don't remember happening last time, but after a few checks and tries, we got it. So now we're gonna put our DTF powder on it. You don't wanna be like too crazy with the DTF powder. It does get a little clumpy, which is kind of annoying, but when you shake it, all the clumps are gonna come right off. Someone who knows this better than me is gonna be like, yours shouldn't be clumpy like that, girl. But it is, I don't know why. So I'm just going to sprinkle. This is way too much, but that's because I'm getting a lot of clumps. And then we're just gonna take our little sheet here, move our powder out of the way. Again, you really wanna be doing this before it dries, which can be kind of hard. But then we're just gonna kind of shake it around. It's coating it really nicely. We just want to coat every part of our design. So when I'm done, I'm just gonna get it off there. And you can look at it and see if it's covering your whole design. And it is, it covers really nicely. Now, you also wanna make sure that you don't have any like big clumpy areas. So I'm just gonna kind of tap it off, tap some of that excess off. And you can see quite a bit fell off there. Tap a little excess off again. You don't want it to be like built up in any areas, but you want it to be evenly coated. So it may take a few tries to find that like good balance. Last time I did this, I feel like I did too much and I had like some buildup and it affected the ability to peel the design. Like it kind of made it harder. So this looks really good though. It's pretty evenly coated across with no excess. So I think we're good on this. So I'm just gonna set this to the side for the second, clean up my mess here, because again, you can reuse this powder, which is kind of one of the things that I think makes it so special. Stick my little thing back in there. So I'm just going to do this as carefully as I can. I'm so bad at this part. I'm just gonna take my wax paper, dump the excess back in there. Because you can use it again. Yay! Okay, let me get rid of this trash. And then we're going to press our design. Okay, so we have our heat press set to 385 degrees for 40 seconds. I am gonna go ahead and pre-press my shirt. You always wanna pre-press your shirt. This is no exception. So we pre-press our shirts not only to kind of preheat them and get them more ready for pressing, but also to get all the moisture out of the fabric. It just allows your design to adhere better and it gives it more longevity, which this shirt is gonna need because we're gonna be trying to destroy it in a minute. You don't need to pre-press for the whole 40 seconds though. 20 or so is fine just to get that moisture out. All right, so now we're gonna go in with our print. I will say before you do this, note that this, like the coating kind of can move around a bit on the shirt. So wherever you put this on your shirt needs to be where you want it to go. You're not gonna be able to slide this around a bunch after you put it on. So sometimes I would even recommend taking your shirt off of the plate, making sure everything is straight and how you want it, and then placing and putting the whole mat back on your heating plate. I just think that might make it a little easier. It is gonna be prone to kind of moving around, so be really careful sliding it back onto your heat press. And now I'm just going to put this Teflon sheet over top and press at 385 degrees for 40 seconds. Okay, when the timer goes, we are gonna quickly remove this. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but because this is a cool peel, we just like don't wanna waste too much time getting it off and cooling. Okay, so we've pressed our shirt. I did go ahead and remove it from the mat and remove the Teflon sheet because this is a cool peel. So having it on my kind of cool desk here is just gonna help it cool off that much quicker. So we're gonna let it totally cool before we peel it. And then we're gonna pray that it works because it worked last time. So I feel like it should work this time. I've seen people put it on like a stone slab or like a marble slab to help it cool quicker. And I think that is brilliant, but I don't have one. So we're just using my desk. We'll see how it goes. I still am in awe that this is just regular inkjet ink. Like there's no sublimation at work here. There's no DTF printing really at work here. This is sorcery. This powder is a heavy hitter because that's doing all the work here. Okay, we're pretty cool. This part always stresses me out. I'm gonna get just a corner here. What? Kind of outrageous that this is working. Again, totally bamboozled that this works this well. You can see that like some areas did stick on there better than others. And if you look at your DTF sheet, you can see where it's left behind some of the ink. But all in all, it creates kind of a vintage, like washed look. But like, it's amazing that it works at all. Like it's crazy to me. I've also seen people say that you can press it a second time to get like a better result, I guess. But we just pressed it once. I am gonna throw it back under the heat press one more time with nothing else on it just to kind of lock those colors in. We're not gonna do it for the full 40 seconds. I'm just gonna do it for about 20. And then we're gonna stress test these bad boys. So let me do that really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, she is locked in. We have done a second press. Let's do the stress test now, which I've been looking forward to this whole time. So the first thing we're gonna do is just stretching and like scratching and just seeing how easily it pulls up. And then the next thing we're gonna do after that is wash them and dry them, see how well they hold up. So we're gonna let this one sit for a second because we just pressed it. Let's get our tote bag. So like I said, in terms of general wear and tear, I think good results. My kids are 5 and 3 and they use this bag multiple times a week for piano lessons. It's dirty, it's been thrown around in the car. It is their responsibility to get it to and from the car and to and from lessons, so they do not treat it kindly. It's been beat against doors, car doors, it's been shut in the door, it's been thrown in the trunk, it's been stepped on, my dog has run all over it, and it still held up. This is exactly what it looked like when we first pressed it, and if you don't believe me, you can go back and watch the video. So in terms of normal wear and tear, this hack gets a thumbs up from me. Like I said, they use this all the time. The only thing we don't do is wash this bag. So I'm interested for us to wash it today and to wash our shirt today and to see how it holds up. But I've never deliberately tried to like stretch it or scratch it. So let's do that. Stretching in every direction here. wrinkling, scratching. I'm like not even gonna look. I'm scared. We really have no movement. I have nothing under my nails. That's kind of crazy, actually. I'm gonna twist it. These are things you should never be doing to your tote bag. I mean, this hack is a pass. Okay, let's do the shirt. I don't have as high hopes for this one. I don't know why. Okay, here she is. Let's stretch her. See if we can get some cracking. Maybe some twisting. Whoa. Okay, it's actually like more solidified to the shirt. Like I actually can't scratch it. Like I'm trying to scratch to try to get some of it to come up and I cannot. Like I can't get my nail under that design like I could on the canvas. I think because the canvas has like a looser weave and it's a more textured surface, you can, if you try hard enough, you can kind of get under the ink and like pull it up. You can't on this shirt. Like I truly could not scratch this off if I tried. And the stretch test, I mean, brilliant. Like that is stretch test, pass on both. Scratch test, definite pass on the shirt. Pretty good pass on the canvas tote, but know that with the texture, you could get it up if you were really trying. But normal wear and tear, both of these pass. Okay, let's wash them and I'll see you back here after we're done washing and drying both of these. This one needs a bath anyway, so it's probably time. Okay, both of these have been through the wash. They've also both been through the dryer. Now what I will say is I did take them out of the dryer a little bit early just to see what it would look like, partially damp, but the dryer really wasn't doing any wear and tear on them. So I think the dryer is safe, but I think you'll be very interested in our washing results. So first let's look at our tote bag. Let me straighten it out here. All right, so here's our tote bag. As you can see, this is not what I expected, actually. I'm kind of surprised because it did not peel, it did not crack, it did not lift, but it did kind of like suck the color out of it, which is odd. And I will say I did not do a second press on this one to like lock in the color. I just did like the one press. So that could have been a factor, but when you see the t-shirt, I don't think you'll think that. So it kind of sucks the color out of it, but I'm overall impressed at how it held up. Now for the shirt. Here's how she looks after a full wash and dry. Again, I did not expect this. Okay, so really surprised by the results overall because there was no cracking, there was no lifting, no peeling, but it just kind of sucks the color out of it, which is kind of bizarre, but also sort of makes sense because we did use inkjet ink for this project. So it kind of lifted the color even with that second press to seal it in. But what I want you to notice and what I noticed like straight away is anything that's like black or gray held up perfectly. I mean, it still looks so good and so sharp. It's those like other colors that really are struggling. Even here, this now just looks like a black and white design, like a faded black and white design. So what I will say is in terms of washing and wear and tear and washing and drying, if you do this hack and you have like a black design that's just like one color, solid black or gray, I think you're gonna have really good results with this. I think you'll really like how it turns out even after washing and drying. But if you wanna do a full color design with this DTF hack, I would highly recommend doing it on something like a tote bag that you're really not gonna be washing. Because I did love how this was holding up over time until I washed it. There was no fading of the colors, there really wasn't a lot of lifting, and it was working really well. So all in all, I think our stress test was a success. We discovered that ripping, tearing, pulling, stretching, it holds up really well. Normal everyday wear and tear holds up really well, regardless of whether we're talking about a shirt or a tote bag. And washing and drying, you are gonna lose a lot of your color, but if you're doing a black design, it holds up really well, even under the washer and the dryer. So for us doing this with an inkjet printer, overall, I'm really impressed. I think that it's a really good hack, and for specific kinds of designs or on specific kinds of materials that you might not be washing and drying, this is a really cool game-changing hack, and I highly recommend you try it out. If you do try it out, let us know in the comments below how it goes. If you post it on social media, be sure to tag us. We would love to see what you're doing. And if you want to know anything else about this hack, or if you want me to try a different hack in general, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Again, my name is Laura, and this is the Design Bundles YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out with me and crafting, and I can't wait to try another hack again here next time.